It was a warm Saturday evening at Charlie's Bar, a place where leather jackets, lively chatter, and the clinking of glasses created a backdrop of camaraderie. But on that day, an unsettling tension hovered just beneath the surface. And right in the center of it all was Joseph Williams, an 84-year-old black veteran navigating through the shadows of a past filled with bravery and sacrifice. Joseph shuffled towards the entrance, a loaf of bread clutched tightly in his weathered hands. The freedom he fought for in the Gulf War felt a million miles away from this moment. A trio of bikers, loud and oblivious, blocked his path. The primary instigator, a bulky man with a handlebar mustache and an arrogance only ignorance can conjure, decided it would be funny to shove Joseph aside as he passed. In an instant, Joseph went down his bread, scattering across the pavement. He hit the ground with a thud, a rush of shock coursing through him, but it wasn't the fall. It was the laughter that surrounded him, boisterous and mocking. Visibility faded like the fading summer sun as the road before him blurred from tears of frustration. A waitress finally rushed over, her face contorted with concern, but Joseph felt invisible, dismissed as if he were nothing more than a forgotten story. That moment, however, tugged at something deeper inside him. Memories of courage flashed through his mind, of soldiers standing shoulder to shoulder, ready to fight for something greater. But all he could focus on now was that loaf of bread he dropped, symbolic somehow of everything he went through, his dignity, his reputation, all tossed to the ground like old trash. As the biker guffawed in the bar with friends bragging about the easy target he just pushed aside, Joseph felt a fire ignite deep within. They didn't see him, this man who sacrificed so much. But today, that would change. He felt ready to rise from the ashes of humiliation. Joseph quietly summoned the strength to stand physically and emotionally. He observed the scene, the laughter, the azalea bush along the patio, and a single thought reverberated through his mind. He reached for the emergency contact on his phone, and it wasn't just anyone, no, it was a powerful connection. Suddenly, the sound of helicopters sliced through the heavy air, growing louder and louder. Black Hawk helicopters. The crowd buzzed with confusion, people looking at each other, their drinks forgotten mid-sip. The bikers turned mouths agape, and there it was, a military presence, soldiers stepping onto the ground, led by none other than Colonel Evelyn Williams, Joseph's daughter. She disembarked with authority, her uniform crisp and her posture straight, a picture of determination. As she approached her father, her expression shifted from concern to anger as she took in the scene. "Dad, I'm so sorry I wasn't here sooner," she said, wrapping her arms around him. Then she turned her icy gaze toward the biker, shaking her head. "What on earth were you thinking?" The biker's bravado faltered, stammering. "I didn't know he was—" "Yeah, he's just an old man to you, huh? Well, let me tell you something." The urgency in her voice cut through the air like a knife. "This old man served our country with honor. His name is Joseph Williams, a hero of the Gulf War." The crowd collectively inhaled, widening their eyes as the depth of Joseph's bravery began to penetrate through the cloud of ignorance. Joseph stood a little taller, dignity returning with each word. Colonel Evelyn detailed her father's service documentaries. He helped produce missions, he'd led accomplishments that made their family proud. This man who just a moment ago was pushed to the ground was now the focal point of a healing revelation. In the midst of it all, Colonel Williams turned back to the biker, her disappointment palpable. "You do understand that what you did isn't just disrespectful. It's a reflection of a bigger issue we all face," she said. As though cueing a shift in the atmosphere, people began to pull out their phones to document the confrontation. Out of nowhere, Sheriff Michael Williams, another family member, arrived with the video, a revelation of the biker's history. "We've got footage," he said, shaking his head. "You've been harassing Joseph for weeks now." The room grew heavy with the sound of gasps as Joseph's hidden camera played back the earlier harassment. Silence hung thick as the truth settled like rain on dry ground. With proof out in the open, the biker's arrogance evaporated. I didn't mean anything by it," he protested, after realizing he was cornered. But the narrative had changed. Joseph didn't wait for the biker to catch his breath. "What I want to know is, why do you pick on people like me? What gets you off?" he challenged, locking eyes with him. The biker stammered but found no possible answer. In that moment, Joseph realized he was no longer just a victim. He was the voice for others like him. With the biker's arrest, other victims began to step forward, sharing their harrowing experiences, and the crowd swelled with support. Nationwide, the story sparked conversations about violence against the elderly, especially minorities, drawing a significant spotlight on an often neglected issue. Fast forward to the courtroom scene, a mix of anxious stacks of papers, nervous whispers, and the anticipation hung thick in the air. Joseph stepped forward and firmly stated what truly mattered. The real issue is the systemic disrespect faced by elder lives. This goes beyond me. Silence enveloped the room as his words resonated, echoing the heart of the situation, pivoting toward redemption, understanding, and intention. As time moved on, Joseph became an inspiration not just to his family, but to the wider community. A veteran center was established in his honor, serving as a refuge for those similar in their struggles, creating waves of initiatives nationwide focused on upholding respect for the elderly. In closing, Joseph's journey taught us something profound: the importance of confronting injustice, nurturing dignity, and recognizing that we all share a humanity that transcends age and race. Now, I want to hear from you. What do you think the role of society is in addressing issues like Joseph faced that day? Have you witnessed similar acts of disrespect? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And if you found inspiration in Joseph's story, hit that subscribe button for more uplifting tales that emphasize strength through compassion and the fight for justice. Thanks for watching.